Shannon, can you hear me?
I can. Are you able to hear me?
Yep. Is Adam planning on attending?
Yes, he is. But I can field things until he joins so that you can get started.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna get started. Jonathan, you ready?
Yep, ready.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I hereby convene the August 5th, 2024 hearing of the Santa Barbara County Zoning Administrator. My name's Linda Liu, and I'll be the zoning administrator for today's hearing, and Mr. Jonathan Martin will be clerking. This hearing will be conducted under the provisions of the Ralph M. Brown Act, Open Meeting Law, as well as the provisions of California Planning Law and the Santa Barbara County Code. We have 3 items on today's agenda. The clerk will read each item into the record, and I will announce any ex parte communications. I'll then get comments from the case planner, followed by the applicant or the applicant's agent, and then I will get comments from the public. Anyone who wishes to testify should use a speaker slip, submit a speaker slip, or if you are testifying remotely, use the raise hand feature. All right, the first portion of our agenda is for the general public. This period gives the public an opportunity to comment on matters that are not on today's agenda. Mr. Martin, do we have any requests to speak for that?
We have received no requests to speak on items not on today's agenda.
All right, then we are ready to proceed to our standard agenda.
Okay, item 1, hearing on the request of Lions Family Trust to consider case number 23 DVP-0002 and to determine the project is exempt pursuant to sections 15301 and 15303 of the state guidelines for implementation of the California Environmental Quality Act.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. I did speak briefly to Ms. Shannon and Ms. Reese and Mr. Orta regarding this item because of the last minute comment letters we received from the neighbors. Mr. Orta, are you ready to proceed?
Adam, we aren't able to hear you. I see that you're unmuted, but
Mr. Orta?
I can, while he works on his audio, I can give some background. There was a comment letter received after 5 p.m. On Friday afternoon, and the neighbor to the west of this project had some concerns about noise, traffic, and the noticing that was conducted, and there was a minor clerical error on the notice that stated the incorrect planner for the project. However, when staff noticed this, they did immediately contact that other planner and make sure that they could be sent to the correct person if anyone did contact. We hadn't heard from any neighbors up until that point. And so, because of that, the neighbor to the west did voice concerns that they weren't able to get a hold of someone on Friday, and had some concerns that they hadn't had time to review the materials and or speak to the property owner. So, with that said, if Madam Zoning Administrator has similar concerns, a continuation could be considered.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Ms. Reese. Is the agent, I don't see the agent online.
Staff did touch
sorry,
base.
I apologize. Go ahead. Can you please state your name for the record?
Seems pretty straightforward project. I think the biggest thing to keep in consideration is that it's private and not public. Test.
Is that better? There we go.
Okay, Lauren Anderson, architect agent for the owner. I think the biggest thing to consider with this project is that it's a private winery. It's not open to the public. There are no exterior equipment proposed. It's all within the existing barn that is there. And yeah, it's not open to the public. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Anderson. You can hand that back to Mr. Martin. All right, Mr. Martin, I do have one request to speak. Here in my hand, Ms. Walden. If you can come up to the podium. As part of the public comment, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. I flew in from Arizona where we have an agricultural business, my husband and I. We have had a home in the San Ynez Valley for more than 20 years. Dick was born here. We both went to school here, and we have many family and friends in the area. Thank you for the opportunity to comment, and thank you for all the commissioners and staff that strive to keep our beautiful county safe, sustainable, and preserve our cultural resources. I've submitted some comments from some neighbors, which I believe the clerk has received. Pam Kadjabek and her sister Sue could not be here today because of medical appointments and responsibilities at Sue's job. But they are very concerned about the project. So my major points I would like to make is first that the notice was very slow in coming. Most of us did not receive it in the snail mail till either Friday, the 2nd of August, or Saturday, the 3rd. The mail is very slow, but it seems in something of this importance, we should have more notice as immediate neighbors. Also, the scope of the notice, I realize that you have some rules. I think you have to be either an adjacent property owner or within 300 feet. But I'd like to point out to the staff that these lots are long and narrow. They're about 330 feet wide and very narrow. So my neighbors just to the west of me, Peter and Donna Lawrenson, can see the proposed structure, will be affected by the traffic, will be affected by the widening of the road on our boundary, and can hear the noise. And we have already had problems with noise and people leaning over our fence from the Lions running this as a VRBO, which I have not complained about to date, but I believe is not proper because they do not reside there full time. They reside in Los Angeles. This has nothing to do with any personal concerns about them. We're fond of them. We've had them to our home socially. We've met their son. We've had our parents to our rancheros party, but there's been no consultation at all with the immediate neighbors, and that I do object to. The error was maybe minimal, but when you're trying to reach a staff person on short notice, it was significant. It wasn't minor. And when I first talked to Steve Connor, he said, "Oh no, there's nothing like that on my agenda for Monday. You must be mistaken." I said, "I have it in my hand." And then he did direct me to Adam. I left a message for Adam, but he never called me back on Friday. So I think in the interests of fairness and also meaningful consultation, I'd like to request that the comment period stay open for at least a month. I would actually prefer a continuance so that we could consult with our neighbors. I did try to get a hold of Sarah and Sky. I have their cell phone numbers. They texted me back that they were in the Caribbean and they didn't have good cell service. That was the response I got yesterday. So I'm also concerned that if they're not willing to come in public and meet with the regulators and the immediate neighbors, you know, how are they going to operate this operation in a responsible and conforming manner? I would also like to say that they are requesting an 80% reduction in the setback requirement that will most affect our property. And it's right adjacent to our horse arena and horse training area. And so the increased traffic, noise, and people coming and going there will have a significant impact on both our equestrian operations, our quality of life, and, the serenity that we have worked for all our life to be able to afford here in the San Ynez Valley. At one point in the staff memo, it says 6 gatherings of up to 70 a year. At another 2 points, it says 8 gatherings. I take it it's 8 gatherings. However, it's Monday through Sunday from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's 7 days a week. And both the Lawrensons and we and our neighbors are in agriculture. We are early risers and early to go to bedders. And, most of us, frankly, have retired by 9 p.m. because we're up at 5. So these are all significant gaps in the knowledge. I would invite the staff to come to our neighborhood and see the impacts. We already, as I pointed out in my statement, have a very high traffic problem and speeders along that road. The county is starting construction on a roundabout today, I understand, at the intersection of Edison and Baseline there, where it makes a sharp right turn. We've had a lot of accidents there. And also where Calzada dead ends into my neighbors, the Lawrensons. So I would appreciate some time to examine those impacts. And if the county is not going to do a traffic study, I think the neighbors would like to get together and do one. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Walden. I don't have any additional requests. Oh, maybe I do. Next speaker, Ann Lawrence.
Good morning. My name is, this one. Good morning. My name is Ann Lawrence. I am the Lyons Family Trust neighbor directly to their west. We share an open fence line, and I have not met the Lyons, any members of their family. But I feel the need to speak out against this project because I love my neighborhood. I love my home. We've been there 16 years, and it's an extremely peaceful place where we raise our children. We have animals. This is our primary residence, our family home where we have barbecues, the kids swim. We're friendly community members. We sit out in the yard every single day, play with our dogs. When the Lyons originally purchased their property, they repeatedly rented it out on an online marketplace, Airbnb or VRBO or whatever it was. We never complained. There was constantly people in and out of there, but we never complained. When they do the maintenance on their vineyards, the heavy toxic dirt and debris blows directly into my yard. It's shocking, actually, to see it happening. But we never complained. We just cleaned up the mess. When the men in the hazmat suits come over and spray the chemicals on their vineyards, they blow directly into our yard. We have to come inside, bring our dogs inside because of the toxic fumes. But we never complained. The vineyards are beautiful, but there is loud noise from their bocce ball parties that they have. I mean, it's not, we are close. It's not like this is a remote property at all. Our property lines are right next to each other. Even though it's 10 acres, like Nan said, they're long and narrow. Like I can see their property. I can see them outside in their yard. It's not like they're a great length away. And I am very concerned about the noise, the traffic, the intoxicated drivers. I mean, we have kids, animals. I'm concerned about the heavy machinery, the equipment coming in and out of there, and the decrease to my property value, to be quite honest. I'm not opposed to wineries in our community in the appropriate spaces. I don't want to live next door to one. I don't believe this business fits in the family and animal-friendly neighborhood that we enjoy. So thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lawrence. I don't see any additional requests to speak. Mr. Martin?
We have no additional requests to speak.
All right, thank you very much. Ms. Reese, I'm going to point to you because I'm not sure if Mr. Orta's mic situation has resolved itself.
It has, just
Oh.
so you know, I'm available for any questions.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Mr. Orta. During my review of the staff report, I did have some questions about the analysis. And in addition to the comments that were presented today and the last minute comment letters that were received, my inclination is to continue this item. I know that the next hearing is scheduled for August 19th. I actually don't think that that's sufficient time because Mr. Orta, I think what I would like to see is some additional analysis on neighboring properties for vineyards and tasting rooms and the distances from the current site. And I think that might take a little while to gather. So I'm inclined to continue this until September 9th. Is that amenable?
Hi, Madam ZA, this is Adam. Yes, so staff can come back with that analysis with neighboring properties where there's nearby wineries.
Okay. So Ms. Anderson, is that sufficient time for you? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this item until September 9th, the next two next ZA hearings. And then in the meantime, I would recommend that you guys contact the neighbors and discuss that. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Orta, Ms. Reese.
Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you.
ZA, appreciate it.
Mr. Martin, next item, please.
Yes, next item. Hearing on the request of Chris Sowell, agent for the applicant SoCal Gas Company to consider case number 22 CDH-00000-00002 and adopt the negative declaration 24 NGD-00005 pursuant to the state guidelines for implementation of the California Environmental Quality Act.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. I do not have any ex parte communications to announce. Ms. Knoll, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Good morning, Madam Zoning Administrator. I'm Katie Knoll, the case planner for the SoCal Gas Dig 10 Anomaly Repair Project, which is case number 22 CDH2. The project is a request by SoCal Gas to repair a section of the existing line 247 after anomalies were detected with the segment that runs through the bed of Dos Pueblos Creek. To replace the anomaly section, the creek will be dewatered in accordance with the provided dewatering plan, and a 215-foot long, 15-foot wide, and 15-foot deep trench will be dug to access the pipeline. Once replacement is completed, the trench will be backfilled and the site will be restored. Equipment and staging will occur on 2 laydown yards on either side of the creek outside of Esch. Access is provided from Highway 101 and existing travel routes to the SoCal Gas right-of-way. During construction activities, a bypass line will be installed to allow gas service to continue. Approximately 3.3 acres is proposed for disturbance, including the workspaces, laydown yards, and excavation area. The work is anticipated to take approximately 12 weeks to complete. About a month ago, SoCal Gas received approval for an emergency permit, which was the follow-up with a follow-up CDP for 3 other anomaly repairs within line 247 on the Gaviota Coast. Those were deemed emergency work necessary to bring the line back to its full operational pressure. This proposed project, Dig 10, could not be lumped in with those previous approvals or vice versa because it does not rise to the level of emergency work since the discovered anomaly has not impacted the operational pressure of the line. So although it's necessary to prevent future scoring of the line and potential emergency work, the Dig 10 anomaly has not impacted pressure yet and is therefore coming in as a regular coastal development permit request. The project is consistent with all applicable policies and ordinance requirements. Therefore, staff recommends that you make the required findings of approval, adopt the mitigated negative declaration, and grant approval of the project subject to the conditions of approval. That concludes my presentation. The applicant's team is here as well, and either myself or them can answer any questions. But I did want to touch on something that was brought to my attention associated with condition of approval 25, the construction hours. That condition does not include language or exception to potential extended work hours identified in the project description. And so SoCal Gas has identified a potential for need of extended work hours for standard construction procedures associated with hydro testing and tie-in of the replacement section. And therefore, it's my recommendation that condition 25 be updated to include language allowing for the extended work hours subject to county notification and approval. Specifically, we could state something along the lines of extended hours extended work hours with lighting may take place for up to 3 days for the hydro test and tie-in installation work. The applicant must provide P&D a written notification about the length of work to occur outside the standard construction hours, which would be subject to P&D approval.
Thank you very much, Ms. Knoll. Question on that. Are these things, the hydro testing and all that, scheduled in advance?
Yes, it depends on how long the actual excavation work will take. These are going to be the last part of the project, so it's really kind of all dependent on how the first part goes.
So if we require, so the language that you are proposing right now doesn't require them to provide us with notice, like say, a timeline for when they provide this notice. And I just don't want to get into a situation where they call you Friday and say they're going to do this on Saturday morning. So
Yeah, I see what you mean. So yes, in that situation, yes, it will be planned out ahead of time in which they would be able to give us a week or two notification.
okay,
I can include something along those lines.
that sounds good. If we can include, for me, I would say, probably 72-hour notice.
Sure.
Days. Mr. Soul, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
You did, Madam Zoning Administrator. Thank you.
Okay.
And Katie summed that project up absolutely beautifully. And that is correct. 72-hour prior time frame in order to notify that, the hydro tests and the extended hour work will begin would not be a problem.
All right, great. Do you have any additional information to provide on this project or anything to add?
No, ma'am. I believe everything's been covered so far.
All right, great. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Mr. Martin, I don't see any requests to speak on this.
We have received no requests to speak on this item.
All right, great. Thank you very much. There was a comment letter, I think it's from the Gaviota Coast, I've never seen them write this type of letter before. So I do want to commend Ms. Knoll and Mr. Soul for your interactions with them and getting them to a place where that they're good with the project and they're comfortable with the level of interaction and communication you guys have been providing. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I'd like to add that is really incumbent upon Katie, who has done an excellent job supporting that and making that work. So thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, then I have nothing further to ask on this item, so I'll go ahead and close out this item, and I will go ahead and make the required findings for approval for this project as specified in Attachment A of the staff report, including the CEQA findings. I do adopt the mitigated negative declaration 24 NGD 0005 included as Attachment C and determine that as reflected in the CEQA findings, no subsequent EIR or negative declaration shall be prepared. And I approve this project, case number 22 CDH 0002, subject to the conditions of approval included as Attachment B and as revised in today's hearing. Thank you very much, Ms. Knoll. Mr. Soul, thank you.
Thank you as well.
All right, Mr. Martin, last item.
Okay. Last item. Hearing on the request of DMF Fund LLC to consider the following. I'm sorry. Item number 3, 23 CDH-00014 DMF Fund LLC Habitat Restoration. Hearing on the request of DMF Fund LLC to consider the following. Accept the addendum to the Santa Barbara Ranch Environmental Impact Report pursuant to the state guidelines of implementation of the California Environmental Quality Act.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. I don't have any ex parte communications to announce on this. Mr. Schmuckel, I understand we're going to be dropping this.
Ms. Liu, yes, that is correct. We're requesting that the project be dropped from the agenda. And when we're ready to come back to the zoning administrator, we'll renotice and work with hearing support to make sure that gets out.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Mr. Martin, do we have any requests to speak on this?
We have received no requests to speak on this item, and we have nobody in the attendees call.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Then I'll go ahead and drop this item from the agenda, and Mr. Schmuckel will redocket and renotice when he's ready. Thank you very much. Mr. Martin, that concludes our hearing for today. Thank